Okay, so today's the day that the heifer that failed the TB test 2 weeks ago is being picked up for slaughter. Now she was a positive reactor in our test. In fact, we'll just flip and have a look at the moment she failed the test. So here you go. Is that a massive reaction?
Yeah.
That's a massive fail.
So the top is the top measured at 14, the bottom's measured at 31 mils.
Oh. So that's a fail.
That's a, yeah.
Massive fail.
That's a reactor, unfortunately. Yeah.
Alright, so we failed the TB test. Okay, so you can see there the where she failed. She had quite a big lump on the side of her neck. Proved a positive TB reactor. So she's going off to be slaughtered now. Now she's going to be slaughtered, and what will happen is the meat in the carcass will actually be enter the food chain unless they find lesions in the carcass, which kind of some people will be surprised at, but I guess that's the way it goes. What is sad is, let's have a look at her anyway. What is sad is that she's an in-calf heifer. There she goes, 956, and you can see in the ear that there's the genetic tag they put in her to make sure that it is her. So she's going off today. She'll be picked up in about a couple of hours time. We've had to keep her isolated in this box. Now you can see I'm not bedded it down that well because it's going to have to be cleaned out and disinfected once she's picked up. What is sad though is that she's an in-calf heifer, so she's due to calve in July. So she's only 4 months away from calving, 4 or 5 months, and so the calf will die with her at the same time when she's slaughtered, which is kind of not very nice really. And to all intents and purposes you wouldn't see anything wrong with her. I mean, she looks like a fine animal. She hasn't ever had a calf before, and compensation wise we're getting 778 quid for her, which so say is the market value of her. But how you can say that we can go and find an in-calf heifer for 778 quid is hard to believe really. It's frustrating from my point of view to lose an animal like that, because what can you do? We're not going to go and buy another one. We just lost that animal. She's obviously not looking brilliant at her best sometimes because they've been in the shed, but in the summer they clean up really nicely. So that's the end of that animal. So yeah, so she's going to be picked up, like I said, in about an hour or 2 hours. Kind of very frustrating really, because we're not getting on top of this TB situation. It's all very well picking her up and taking her to slaughter, but hasn't solved the problem of where that TB's come from. And this cow has been tested twice in the last 6 months. So 6 months ago she passed 2 60-day tests along with the rest of our herd. So in theory there shouldn't be any TB on our farm if they've all passed 2 tests, but that's obviously not the case. So you've got to say, is it still in the herd, spreading it around even though they've passed the test, or is it coming from wildlife on the farm? Whichever way, the way things are going, I haven't got faith we're going to pass any more tests really, but we'll see anyway. So there she goes. She's going to be picked up later. All right, girl. Okay, so I filmed that a few days ago, and since then we've had the actual results of the post-mortem in the abattoir, and unfortunately the heifer did have lesions on the chest. So it wasn't a false test, she did actually have TB. So the worrying thing is now that she's been running with the other animals, and could it spread it to them? So fingers crossed for the next test, which is in 2 months' time, but not a good result really. Anyway, onwards and upwards.